welcome to the Good Fight Sports Podcast, your home for local sports here in the 574.
Hello and welcome to the Good Fight Sports Podcast. This is episode 5. My name is Brady, and I am here with the host, Kenny Cramer.
How's it going, guys? So Brady decided to do the intro today. I thought that would be a good twist.
Something different.
Yeah, something different. Something keep you on your toes around here.
Yeah.
So let's start things off as we usually do in high school basketball. We did have a little bit of a crazy week in sectionals. So we had sectional games being played on sectional championship. Some sectional championship games being played on a Monday night, which is crazy around here because usually sectionals are played on Saturday.
Right.
So the 4 sectional sites that were playing on Monday were LaPorte and Michigan City. And Brady and I both picked Michigan City in this game. And we were both wrong. Mishawaka beat Michigan City 77-68. So a fairly close game.
Close-ish, yeah.
But just it looks like the talent of Mishawaka just kind of took over.
Yeah.
And they claimed their first sectional title since 1986.
Round of applause.
Round of applause for
Good
the Cavemen.
Great name, by the way.
By the way, Cavemen fans, go Kingsmen. At me, I dare you. The other sectional game in the same class, that was Class 4A. So we're gonna move over to Elkhart. Fitting that the next team we're going to talk about is the Penn Kingsmen.
Oh yeah.
Penn beat Northridge 75-62.
Not surprising.
Yeah, not surprising at all. And, well, not surprising that Marcus Burton also scored more than 30 points in that game. So he's above. Did he get enough points to be above? Is it Sean Kemp? He has recently passed both Steve Alford and Sean Kemp in scoring. Up to that point, he sat at, I believe it was
31st, right? Because
it was close to that. Yeah, I think it was maybe like 30th or something like that.
Oh no, he's 30 because he was 33.
Yeah, I think so, but yeah, he was sitting just shy of I want to say 2,200 points for his career.
Right. Which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
He was at just over, I think, 2,100 points. So, but yeah, which is still crazy. 2,100 points in your career. That's just crazy. We're gonna move to Class 3A. The number 1 team in 3A, the Northwood Panthers, played West Noble in a rematch. On paper, this looked like a close game. This looked like it was going to be just a nail biter, like last second shot wins the game. Teams that didn't turn the ball over the most would win. Well, that wasn't the case because Northwood, let's just say, was almost up by 40 at one point in this game, and won by 33 points, 57-24.
Absolutely ridiculous.
The Northwood defense, I kid you not, allowed 5 points in the second half. No, 7 points in the second half.
Wow. Talk about them clamps, man. That's that type of, those numbers remind me of like watching not not watching, but talking about a girls South Bend, South
The
Bend,
South Bend Washington game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
104-4.
right, exactly, 91-4.
Or Clay.
Right. It kind of reminds me of a Northwood football score, in a way.
Yeah, actually.
Because Northwood football this year was just killing everybody.
Murdering.
Yeah. Until they met Northridge.
Yeah, and then
That didn't end well.
that's other news. That's football. Let's stay on track here, Kenny. Let's
We're gonna move to Class 2A. The only 2A school sectional around this area that was
Locally,
playing. Was over in Westview, and Westview cruised to another sectional titled their 21st in program history. By the way, 78-65 over Central Noble. So Westview moves on to the North Judson Regional. Northwood would advance to the South Bend Washington Regional, which on paper looked like it was a great regional. Penn moves on to a daunting regional over in Michigan City, and Mishawaka was also in that regional as well. So I will now move my attention and our attention to regionals, which happened yesterday. And we're going to start in Michigan City in Class 4A. And game number 1 was Penn versus Chesterton. And Chesterton, I thought at one point Chesterton was going to pull the upset. Because in every quarter, besides the first, Chesterton had the lead. And in the final quarter, they had Chesterton had a 7-point lead. But the experience of Penn and their gutsiness and their grit took over. And of course, Marcus Burton decided to say, the D1 commit decided to take over, and just scoring 12 points at halftime wasn't enough, so he decides to finish with 34. Yes, you heard that right. 12 points at half, finishing with 34 points. And Penn won by 13, 73-60, finishing on a 17-4 run in the final frame. And with that 34 points, Marcus Burton now moves to 26th overall. He now sits at 2,216 points. He is only 53 points shy of tying the Marion High School All-Star, Jalen Blackman, who is the next big name on the list for Marcus Burton to either tie or pass. And Marcus Burton could almost get that in one game if he so desired.
So that's just across Indiana.
That is just across boys high school basketball.
In the country? Or
just in the state.
In the state? Okay, yes. I was going to say because, yeah.
Just in the state. Now, fun fact for you, also a trivia question. Who is the leading scorer in the whole state of Indiana? That is both high school boys and girls included.
Scott Skiles.
No.
Plymouth Pilgrim. Mom knew him. See, I do not actually know. I have. If you tell me, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I knew that. Is it a big name?
Yes.
Is it the big? Well, like a very. So they played in the NBA, right?
A version.
A version? The WNBA? So is it Sue Bird?
I will give you a hint.
Is it Sue Bird?
No.
Brittany Griner?
No.
Okay,
no.
give me a hint.
They went to the school that's on your sweatshirt.
Oh my gosh, I know. I can't remember.
I think I know who you're going to say too. Can I take a guess on who you're going to say?
Yes.
Skylar Diggins.
Yes.
No.
Really?
Yes.
Who?
Jackie Young.
Now it clicks.
Jackie Young. She graduated from Princeton High School, not
Right, not Prin-
yeah,
yeah. Right.
not the prestige Princeton.
Yeah.
But Princeton, and finished with over 3,400 points.
I think Marcus Burton could pass that up.
So,
Averages 300 points a game.
Dude, okay, he's gonna have to have like a 1,000-point game at this point.
If Wilt Chamberlain
I
can get
never
100,
said that, and I will say that I never said that was out of the question. By the way, we both know that 1,000 points for Marcus Burton could almost easily happen if he wanted to.
cherry pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just say, hey, how many points can you score in this amount of time?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to regionals. So Penn moves on to semi-state after the change of formatting for high school basketball. It used to be you would have to win 2 games in one day to be regional champions. Now it's you win 1 game and you move on to semi-state, and semi-state is the exact carbon copy of how regionals used to be. So now semi-state is you win 2 games in one day to move on to state, and so Penn moves one step closer to that all elusive rematch. It looks like right now with Ben Davis.
Ben Davis.
The only team to give Penn a blemish.
See, I don't see. The thing is, I just don't see Ben Davis. I see him winning state. I don't see him losing. I mean, the only team I think that they would lose to is Penn.
Yeah.
That's their only competition, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah.
And it's going to come down to who wants it more. I mean, they got players on both those teams, which are going to be, D1 athletes going to be out there playing for, prestigious colleges,
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun one. I mean, they aren't there yet, but they will be.
We're starting to hear chatter of that elusive matchup between Penn and Ben Davis down in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, formerly Bankers Life Fieldhouse, and formerly
formal
Conseco Fieldhouse.
Right.
And also formerly before that,
the triple formal.
Oh, I was like, wait,
Not the
what?
name. No.
Oh,
I wouldn't know the name.
You got me again, dude. I got twice today. We'll get into the first time I got today. But formerly before Conseco, it was Market Square Arena. That's what it was.
Have you been there before?
Market Square.
Well, Conseco
Fieldhouse.
Conseco, yeah.
Bankers Life. Gainbridge. Yes.
You have.
Not ever since they have renovated it.
Right,
most recently.
They increased the capacity of it, right?
I think they increased it a little bit, but I know they've done some major renovations.
Yeah, it probably needs some.
Inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been there recently, no. But I've been there before, so I know how the place looks. I actually watched South Bend, Washington one year when they went down the state. That's about the only local team I've seen down in state in high school basketball.
That's
live.
Cool. Right, live, yeah.
So with that, Penn is now 27-1. And Chesterton finishes with the record of 20-6. So congratulations on Chesterton for another good year. And Penn gets revenge over Chesterton from last year's defeat in the regional championship. 59-48. Chesterton beat Penn last year. So in the second game at Michigan City, Hammond Central and Mishawaka were both playing. believe I took Hammond Central in this game.
I think I went the other way on this one.
Or actually, no, we couldn't make a pick because there was nobody. Because Hammond Central had advanced already.
Right.
And Mishawaka still hadn't played yet. So
That's what
no pick was made. But if we did have a pick, I would probably take Hammond Central. And they ended up winning 59-46, ending Mishawaka's really good year. But the Wolves jumped out to an 18-6 advantage right off the bat and just kind of stole the thunder away from the Cavemen. And they held Mishawaka to 20 points at the half, too. So, right. I mean, you're not really going to win a bunch of games when you score just 20 points at the half. But Mishawaka did, make a good third quarter push. They outscored the Hammond Central 12-0. But just the fact that it was 18-6 at one point and then scoring only 20 points just kind of made the hill a little too hard to climb.
Right.
And just the Cavemen couldn't get it done. But it was a great year for the Cavemen, finishing 20-7. And the Wolves now jump to 26-1. So the meeting at semi-state in Class 4A, the 4A semi-state has been announced. So the semi-state in 4A will be back at Michigan City. And the teams there will be Fort Wayne versus Kokomo in the first game. And then Penn and Hammond Central will wrap up the semi-state semifinal round. So your quick picks in that one, starting with the first game, Fort Wayne and Kokomo.
I'm going Fort Wayne.
I'll take Kokomo.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take Penn.
I don't know. Penn.
Okay. You got Penn versus Fort Wayne. Who wins?
It's going to be Penn's going to win by at least 25.
Dang. I'll take Penn over Kokomo by 7.
Wow, you're thinking it's going to be that close?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be out of the gates. They're going to just dominate Penn, or Penn's going to dominate.
Okay. I respect it. Now, fun fact about the Michigan City Regional. The field record was 97-13 combined.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I
think it was one of the top regionals in the state.
Yeah, it was number 2, right?
I
Compared
think so.
Not Atlantic. The number 1 is
I think it was down
what
in Indianapolis somewhere.
Oh, is it the Center Grove?
I think it was Southport with Ben Davis.
Oh, because that one's Ben Davis.
It had Ben Davis, Cathedral. And I forget who else was in there, and they both had they didn't have double-digit losses. I know that for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, mainly their losses were in-conference losses.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because 13, I mean, you usually play, at least one other... I mean, you play each person in your conference, I would think, at least once or twice, right? Or probably once.
Most of the time you play them once, unless there's a conference tournament where you would maybe play them again. But most of the time you play them once.
Unless you're a 1A school.
No, it's still most of the time you play your conference once.
Maybe. Yeah.
But now we're going to move to 3A. And we're going to go to South Bend, Washington. And you want to talk about a tough regional. So it's South Bend, Washington.
Very much so.
Field record 80-20.
Solid.
First game was Northwood Lake Station. There we go. And on paper, this should have been a close game. On paper, should have been a close game. Lake Station was 22-3, but South Bend, Northwood, number 1 in 3A, best defense in the state. Absolutely took the Lake Station Fighting Eagles to the woodshed, back to the court, and then back to the woodshed again. And Northwood just crushed the Eagles 72-35. This game was never close. Northwood jumped out to a 10-0 lead right off the bat. And then Lake Station did cut it to 6 at one point, at 11-5. After they did that, Northwood went on a 20-0 run to make it 31-5, and the floodgates opened. Northwood could do whatever they want, whenever they wanted, to whoever they want.
Hey, Northwood, you want to play a game against Penn while you're also still playing this game? Go ahead.
My money would be on Northwood, and I'm not kidding.
Against Penn?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they do. I mean, yeah.
I mean, Northwood is only letting up about 35 points a game. And Cade Brenner, star player for Northwood, finished with 31 points.
Wow.
I believe he also may have gotten close to a double-double with assists towards the end of the game. And speaking of which, he had a crazy assist to Ian Roush at the end of the game. He was driving down the court. Ian Roush was on the sideline running towards the basket, and Cade Brenner saw him out of the corner of his eye, looked over at him, and swung a pass behind his back right into the pocket of Ian Roush, and he went in for a monster jam, his second dunk in a row, and just blew the roof off the arena for all the Northwood fans, and just kind of put the exclamation point on a almost 40 point win for Northwood. And speaking of Ian Roush, he finished with 15 points, again with 2 dunks back-to-back. His brother, Tyler Roush, scored 10. And so Northwood advances to semi-state for the first time since 2007, and also improves to 25-2 overall. And Lake Station finishes the year at 22-4. I do know that was the most wins for Lake Station in a year, and especially their senior class. Also finished with 67 total wins. So
pretty
respectable there. Congratulations to Lake Station. Also want to give a congratulations to Northwood on a game well played. So Northwood advances. And so the second game at South Bend, Washington, featured Glenn and South Bend, Washington. Now we're going to jump back really quick to the first game that these two teams played. At Glenn, Glenn won by 15 points. And that was back when South Bend, Washington was talked about being a potential contender in 3A. And after that loss, they kind of fell out of the
contention.
Not really contention, but just kind of fell out of the whole media talk and all that stuff. You really didn't hear a whole lot about South Bend, Washington. They were kind of that under the radar, good 3A team. And so when South Bend, Washington, and Glenn met up again yesterday, Washington was seeking revenge. They had a look in their eye of they wanted it. But Glenn was just too tough. Glenn never went away. Washington, I believe, had the lead, I think, twice. Other than that, Glenn controlled the game throughout, and they get a big regional win over the Washington Panthers, 58-54. And it was a great game to watch. Washington coming back from a 10-point deficit late in the fourth quarter, taking the lead with under 20 seconds to go, and John Glenn's Joey Strap-Louis hit a three with 6 seconds to go. I mean, he was wide open too, and just drained it and kind of put not really the sealer on, because when South Bend Washington went down to try and make a shot, Washington got called for a foul, and that sent senior Bryson Hanna to the free throw line for John Glenn, where he iced the game and put it out of reach for the Falcons, and they capture that all-elusive regional title for the first time since 2005. So John Glenn and Northwood, two local teams, moving on to semi-state. So
That's for Glenn.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't like Glenn fans. Sometimes they frustrate me.
I hear you on that. I can agree, especially being a LaVille grad. There's a definite rivalry there. Yeah, of course.
Oh, our mascot's better. Our name.
Yeah.
Hey, we're Glenn.
Yeah, we're Glenn.
Hey, we're Glenn, guys. We're Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse.
If you were Penn, okay, but you're Glenn, so you're the cousin of Penn. So not even the cousin. You're the distant relative.
You're
skill.
They're like that fifth cousin once removed, like
Twice removed.
like 3 times removed, who thinks he's kind of part of the family, but
He's not.
he's not.
Nope.
Yeah.
But good job.
But yeah, good job to John Glenn, and they move on. They improved to 17-10. So Glenn is kind of heating up at the right time. And South Bend, Washington finishes the year at 18-6. So another upset in regionals yesterday happened down in 2A, where North Judson got beat by Lewis Cass, 62-51. And North Judson blew a 7-point lead at the half of 22-15. And, Cass is moving on to semi-state. They're now 19-7 overall. And the Blue Jays finished the year at 23-4. So they were the last Hoosier North team left in the tournament. And, well, there is no more Hoosier North teams. Hoosier North teams left. In the second game there at North Judson, Gary 21st Century Charter, obviously out of Gary, beat Westview 67-58. And the Cougars had a 16-point lead late in the game, which kind of shows you how Westview kind of made it a game towards the end, but just couldn't get over the hump. And so the Cougars move on. They move to 21-5 this year, and the Warriors finish 17-9. And we're gonna give quick little snippets here. Couts down in 1A at Triton won their game, and so did Michigan City Marquette. They won their game, so both of those schools move on to semi-state as well.
Marquette does not surprise me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't surprise
Not
me either.
at all.
Yeah.
For being a 1A school, right? Marquette. They're
1A. Yeah,
they're pretty good.
yeah.
They're good.
And I forgot to mention the 3A North Semi-State being held at Elkhart. So the first game is Glenn versus Delta, and then the semifinal cap will be Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger versus the number 1 Northwood Panthers. Bishop Dwenger, I have seen, is 13-13. They sit at 500. So I am going to take Northwood by 20, and I'm going to take Glenn by 1.
I'm taking Delta by 5. I like the name Bishop Dwenger too much. The Dwenger.
Yeah.
Like Dwang. I don't know. I'm gonna say they pull the upset and they win.
Wow.
Yeah. It's gonna be probably a 3-point ball. 3 points.
Okay.
It's closer.
So my semi-state championship game for 3A is the Glenn versus Northwood, and then give me Northwood by 17.
Yeah, I got Bishop beating Bishop beating. Oh, I said Delta.
Yeah,
right?
you said Delta.
No, Delta's gonna beat. Man, no, Delta's gonna win it all.
Okay, you have Delta moving to state
Mm-hmm.
in 3A. Okay. All right. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting there from you. I thought you were going to take Northwood.
I usually would take Northwood. I have taken Northwood, but
You just want to switch it up, don't you?
do something a little different.
Okay.
It's a different day for me.
Okay. Speaking of different day, I need to wish you and the audience happy Selection Sunday.
Happy Selection Sunday, everybody,
Thank you.
and Kenny. Me, myself, and I.
If you don't know what Selection Sunday is, you've been living under a rock. I'm kidding. Selection Sunday is for the NCAA tournament for college basketball, mostly the men. It's where all the teams that have qualified for the tournament are selected by a selection committee to compete in a 68-team bracket, and the winner of all of it is crowned national champion. That's basically
Plain and simple as it gets.
that's about Reader's Digest version as you can get. And with that, there are some automatic qualifiers, teams that have won their conference tournament, and just a few that just kind of stuck out to me today that I saw, and I'll just kind of read them off. America East, Vermont, ACC, no shock, Duke.
Obviously.
Big 12, shocker, Texas.
Texas, the upset.
A big upset, by the way. We'll get into that next. Big East, Marquette, Missouri Valley, Drake. Kind of wanted to see Indiana State win that one. They were playing some good ball, but got beat. I forget by who. I think it was Bradley who beat them.
I definitely think Indiana's going to make it in
The Hoosiers?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No,
I think they're going to be in the play-in game. I think they're going to win.
I don't think so.
Alrighty. Well,
Then we got Pac-12, Arizona. They beat UCLA
that was a
last
little bit
night.
of a
That was
shock.
that was a big one. I thought UCLA was going to win that one. West Coast, Gonzaga. That's not a shock.
Nope.
And then the most important one for me, anyway. My school, Grand Canyon, won the WAC, and they move on to the NCAA tournament for the second time in school history. And if you don't know, I do attend Grand Canyon University, going for a degree in communications with an emphasis in broadcasting and new media. Basically, in short, sports broadcasting.
Exactly.
Now to that Kansas-Texas game. What in the world happened to Kansas?
They fell apart. I mean, there's really no other way of saying it. I mean, you're the number one team, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, we've seen bigger upsets before, Kenny.
Oh, that is
But,
true.
I mean, Kansas should not have lost to Texas. They completely lost the game in the second half, and they couldn't, make that comeback that they needed.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
they lost by 20, which it was 76 to
56, yeah.
That's very rough, especially for a college game.
Yeah, especially for a blue blood school like Kansas.
Oh yeah.
To lose by 20.
Yeah, no way.
I get losing by 20 to, like, say if it was Kansas, Kentucky, back in the day when Kentucky was good.
Right. Or any other big
or like
college,
Duke,
Gonzaga, or Duke, or,
Duke, North Carolina, teams like that, just like the big blue bloods of college basketball. You can see those 20-point wins, but for a blue blood school to lose to a team that's up and rising in the I guess blue blood ish range in Texas, it's quite shocking, and especially when both teams shot it well from the field. I mean, Texas was 50% overall, and Kansas with 41. So I mean, not bad, but when you look at the 3-point percentage, both teams were 4 of 17.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, that's 25% from 3 for the game.
Which is very bad.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
It's
good. Not.
No, that is disgusting. Bad. Yeah. But I think the key for Texas, for me anyway, was them getting to the foul line and going 10 for 12 from the free throw line. If you can get to the foul line more than 10 times, you have a pretty darn good shot of winning a basketball game. Kansas only made it there 6 times, and they went 4 for 6. So, I mean, they did all right from the free throw line, but they didn't get as many opportunities as, say, Texas did from the line. So I said earlier I got twice today. Brady got me with the triple, and then I got early this morning. I read a post on Twitter that said that LeBron James has been suspended by the commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, due to taking performance-enhancing drugs during the course of his 20-year career. That has turned out to be false. To an extent, there is an investigation now opened about it, but LeBron James is not suspended. And Brady, you want to let the listeners know who made the name of the post I saw it on?
The post on Twitter. I saw it also earlier today before we meant to do the podcast, and it was Butt Cheeks.
I think it was like Butt Crack Sports.
Butt Crack Sports. That's the name of it, and yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you just read the post and you see other people, retweeting it or sending it, you don't always know, like, especially if they're verified. I mean, you think, because that used to be a thing that, like, oh, they're verified, they're trusted, but now anyone can get verified.
Right.
It's not like you have to, only celebs can get it.
Right,
you have
exactly.
to actually just be a human being and pay you on money.
Right.
To do that.
Yeah.
Achieve twit.
But, yeah. I admit I didn't read who the post was by. I just saw LeBron James suspended for PEDs. That's all I saw. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty news heavy. So I'm going to put that down in the notes for today's podcast. And then, well, that turned out to be an epic failure on my part because, well, there's nothing to really talk about there at all, really.
It got sent to the void, just like Nick Shirk. We love you, Nick, by the way, if you're here.
We do love you. He is here, by the way. Don't you remember? He joined us for the other
podcast.
For our other podcast, yeah.
Shout out, link in description.
NFL news, Brady.
Mm.
And for our listeners, Lamar Jackson. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Got franchise tagged by the Baltimore Ravens. Didn't get the exclusive franchise tag. Got the non-exclusive franchise tag, which is going to cost Baltimore a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And that opens up his options to anyone. So Lamar can go anywhere and have any team come talk to him. And the only exception is that Baltimore can match any sort of deal that is made to Lamar, if they so please. If not, they can take first-round draft picks. And that's it.
That's rough.
Yeah. And in my opinion, I see this all leaning towards Lamar joining the Indianapolis Colts.
I see it the same way. Strong offense. They just really do not have a quarterback that's a good asset. I mean, they need someone behind there which can actually win them football games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Matt Ryan didn't work. Carson Wentz didn't work.
No.
I thought Jacoby Brissett was going to work. That didn't work.
No.
I mean, Andrew Luck worked to an extent. I mean, the last really good quarterback the Colts had was Peyton Manning. I mean,
Yeah.
That was the last dynasty of the Colts.
Yeah.
But, you know, if Lamar ends up going the Colts, I could see their franchise turning around because they got starting to get a stronger line, O-line, D-line.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting in the work, and yeah, I think it'd be a good choice for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't really have crazy star receivers. I mean,
No.
they don't have super known receivers, but those guys that have been playing there for a while. I mean, I've been saying this for a while, but receiver for the Colts, you know, Michael Pittman Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I know you wouldn't like him because he went to USC.
Nope. Yep. You're right.
But I see him. I think he's pretty good. He's just had terrible quarterbacks. I think he's been in the league for 3 or 4 years now. I think this is his third year. I would say he's comparable to Juju. You know, I mean, he's got good hands, good movement. I mean, obviously he doesn't dance on the 50-yard line, but he's a solid player. He's probably one of my favorite players in the Colts right now, I'd say. But
all right.
yeah.
So I'm not really a fan of the NFL per se. If I had to pick a team, it would probably be the Denver Broncos. But because I'm in Indiana and that's the only team that we have in Indiana is the Indianapolis Colts, even though I kind of grew up a Bears fan, I've learned on my own to not be a Bears fan.
Don't be a fan. Don't be a fan of any Chicago team except for the Cubs.
Except for the White Sox.
Right, of course.
The
Fire. We can agree on one thing.
Okay, don't be a fan of
all Chicago people can agree on one thing. We're all Blackhawks fans.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Right there.
Everyone is a Blackhawks fan.
If you're a Reds, or not Reds,
if you're a Red Wings fan, get out.
Get it out. Cut it out.
Yes. Get out.
That's the equivalent to being a Packers fan.
In Chicago. Yeah. They're going to run you out of town.
Yeah. Maybe with violence.
Oh, yeah, probably. But, yeah, I agree. Like Indianapolis has a great team up and coming. I mean, their offensive line, I think, this year is going to be outstanding. Because, I mean, let's not forget they have Quentin Nelson. And Quentin Nelson is a beast of an offensive lineman. He has been ever since his career at Notre Dame. Right. So he alone is going to be one of those rocks on that offensive line. So you can always count on him to help Lamar out if that's where this is all leading towards, and I think it is. then we'll see Lamar Jackson in a blue and white jersey next year.
Or, here's what I think would be real spectacular. I mean, I like the Colts, but it'd be really interesting. 49ers. They trade away Brock Purdy to the Ravens, and they get Lamar. What do you think about that, Kenny?
That would be one heck of a 1-2 punch at quarterback.
You have Christian McCaffrey, you have Deebo Samuel, Lamar Jackson, you have Kittle. I mean, you have one of the most stacked offenses, already a stacked offense. I mean, you could put any quarterback behind that team and you're going to win your division.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You're going to win on just run game alone.
Right.
And the pass game, that'll come with it,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that would be, I mean, a lot of people want that. I'm starting to hear more people want that, but I think 49ers should really honestly just stick with who they got right now, stick with Brock, and either stick with him or trade for some defensive players, and then keep, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're 49ers, I don't think you really need to jump at Lamar. I think you got a pretty nice setup the way it is.
I'm still surprised they got McCaffrey. I don't think they needed him because they already had one of the best O-lines for run game in the league. So they could have put anyone behind there. I mean, I think it was the running back before that was is Raheem Moser or
Mozart.
Moser. I think he was the running back before McCaffrey, or I think he's still playing. But
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he's a Bronco. I guess maybe.
Yeah, I think he is.
I don't know.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
That's out of the picture. That's whatever.
Yeah. Also,
Let's ride.
NFL. Aaron Rodgers. Looks like things are leaning towards the deal. Trade is going to be official here soon. And he will be traded to the Jets. Which is funny and also ironic in a way because if you remember Brett Favre, I believe went to the Jets first before he went to the Vikings. I believe, if I have that right.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so it's funny that both franchise quarterbacks for the Packers will go to the Jets. What it looks like.
Happen.
Yeah. Nothing has been officially set in stone yet, but all signs and all sources are saying that talking is done. A deal has been made, but it's time to put the deal into writing.
Right.
And
I mean, I would expect something, in the next probably day, either later today or probably tomorrow morning, most likely, is probably, when Rodgers went on his darkness retreat, he really had a lot to think about.
right.
That was the funniest. That was so funny, man.
So I will say, we need to touch on one quick thing. We tried to do it in another podcast, but just with the amount of editing that needed to be done, it just didn't work out right. Patrick Kane, it's old news to most of you now, but he got traded to the Rangers of New York, and he was with the Blackhawks from the start of his career up till now.
Basically the end of his career.
Yeah, he's probably going to retire here soon. He's definitely going to have his number retired in Chicago, helping lead the team to 3 Stanley Cups in 6 years. Should have been 4 in 6 years, because in 2014 they should have beaten the LA Kings, but they got
They've won 2 Stanley Cups with him, right?
With
Just
Kane,
one? Yeah.
3.
Oh, they actually won 3?
Yeah, they won 3. Yeah, in 2010 he scored the game-winning goal in 2010 in Game 6
Wow.
of the Stanley Cup final. And then they won in 13 and then again in 15.
Yeah.
And they've been rebuilding ever since 15.
Looking like the Chicago Bears.
And looking like a Chicago Cubs.
Hey, Bears are going to be getting a new stadium, most likely.
Hey, yes, that is true. It's been approved.
Now that Lori Lightfoot is gone out of Chicago.
Oh, jeez.
Well, not yet, but, she's not winning re-election.
Yeah, no. And I don't know about you, but the models of the renovated Soldier Field with a dome and all that stuff, just
Horrible.
yes, it looked atrocious, disgustingly bad. What they should have done, what they should do if they were to renovate Soldier Field, which they're not going to do now because it's already been official.
Arlington Park.
Arlington Heights is the new home of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I think is it a $7 billion
I think so.
renovation? So the actual field is 4.5, and then everything else they're doing around it. It's gonna have it's gonna be like if you were to go to like a mini Chicago, but it's all football related and sports and also like concerts, and it's gonna be it's gonna bring a lot of business and a lot of money to Arlington Heights and that whole area. It's actually gonna profit the state of Illinois or just the area very well, because that's the reason why Lori Lightfoot wanted to keep it in Chicago, because she could get they could tax them and make good money.
Tax them and then get the money from it. Yeah, but now that they're out of the downtown area,
city limits.
Yeah, it's now going to Arlington Heights, and the site where the stadium's going to be built on is the former Arlington Heights Raceway.
Yeah,
up there.
Great spot.
Great spot. I believe all they really got to do is just build the stadium, and then the stuff around it. I believe there's some good parking areas up there.
So they're gonna be having a whole almost like metro system to that. So yeah, and shuttle buses, and
are they gonna build a train out there? Because
they probably will, connecting to actual Chicago, because that was a big issue with Soldier Field, is you couldn't get there by train, or it was a while walk from the trains,
right,
or the all that,
or the city buses, and stuff like that.
You can only go so far with the buses until you have to just walk. That was the main issue. You had to walk a mile. Or about that to get into the stadium, let alone get to your seat and all that. But do we have anything else want to touch on?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
I don't have anything else.
So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for episode 5. For Brady Master, I'm Kenny Cramer saying so long, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.
Hey everyone, we hope you enjoyed the episode today. If you did, you should go check out the rest of our episodes on our website at ccflugnutspodcast.com.
You can also listen to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Follow us on our Facebook and Instagram pages by searching the Lugnuts Podcast Group.
Thanks for listening, and remember, Jesus loves you, and so do we.